Welcome back, everybody. Light Warriors Unleashed podcast, episode 49, Victim versus Victor. It's your choice. This is going to be a heated discussion because some of you are probably not going to want to own the fact that you are playing victim. And I walked through some dynamic experiences that have happened for me over the last week and some experiences that have been happening to friends over the last week, just for you to get some context as to what's moving through the collective energy at this time and what we're being called to step into. And this is interesting, the whole landscape of this all. I haven't processed all of it yet in my body, which I actually own in the podcast when I say that to you guys. But there's a movement happening in the world. And we are actually at this precipice of change of like, are you a victim or are you the victor? Or like we could say also too, I give you guys the context of lions. Are you a lion or are you a sheep? And I tell you about the brand Lions Not a Sheep and about the coaching program I'm a part of inside of this podcast too. But if you're new to my world, welcome. My name is Colleen, and my job is to literally dismantle conformity in the world and to speak truth in all different ways and to hold a space for us to move in evolution, to feel our spiritual connection, to understand our divine rights, to understand our divinity inside of us, to move within this field of energy. And it's not easy every day to be able to hold this space for people. And it's definitely not for the faint of heart, but it's worth it. Every piece of this is worth it, even through the challenges and the struggles and the chaos and the fucking shit shows. We've got a lot of work to do as humanity. As these humans on this earth, we have a lot of trauma. We've got a lot to heal. We've got a lot of patterns that have been embedded in our fields of DNA, even to move through. And us playing victim, because I say playing for a reason, because you're choosing to be a victim if you are choosing victimhood. And that may be, I don't choose to be a victim. All this is happening to me and someone's doing this. I'm like, no, you're creating this in your life because that's actually what Earth experience is about. Every single part of our world is created through us. And that sometimes fucking sucks for us to swallow. And some of you may disconnect from this podcast right now because I just said that to you. But it's time for us to take ownership of how we're showing up, what's happening to us in the world, and what this means. So, for those of you guys watching on YouTube, welcome to my bedhead and very chilled out energy. I do that in the actual podcast and claim it too. But you guys are seeing me on video at this moment of time. So, just want to say welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for holding space for yourself as you maneuver through this. And I cannot wait to serve you in this next episode, episode 49, Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good everything, wherever you are in the world right now listening to this episode of the podcast. I'm coming to you hot from my bed. For those of you that are on YouTube, welcome to my bedhead and my very chilled out energy form. However, the message I have for you guys today is not chilled out. It's very potent. It's very triggering for some of us, I think, because this is the landscape that we're working in with right now. And we've got a lot of shit hitting the fan in the collective energy and the way we're showing up. And I've been watching the timelines start to increase. The timelines start to maneuver quickly around us. And what I mean by that is that, like a few years ago, we were able to hear an intuitive drop pull into our field of awareness. Then we could take some time to digest it. Then we could take some time to like integrate it, and we could roll with it for a bit. And a few months would roll down the road. And then maybe we would start considering taking action. And then we would take action. But right now, what's happening in the collective is like literally a drop will drop into our field. And we are going to be called to move this forward in quicker manners. There's not a lot of time to be thinking about things any longer. It's like it's moving through our energy to maneuver. And if we are not starting to move in the direction that spirit's holding us, things are going to start to get harder. And the experiences are coming in more visceral, meaning you might get robbed and a tracker put on your car, which happened to me this week. And they came into my house while I was meditating and closed my bedroom door so I didn't hear them. Plus, we were in the middle of a rainstorm. Plus, the washing machine was going. Plus, there's always noise happening around my place. So it didn't even, like, they weren't loud at all. And they took a bunch of stuff. I could really say that I was scared once I found the tracker in my vehicle after, which was the next day. I didn't really sleep well that next night. We got some other mechanism security in place. But that Wednesday night, literally, my girlfriend was like, you need to come stay here. And I was like, I'm in. So I am right now in a boutique hotel called Hotel de Lis. And I've been here since Wednesday. I get my new place tomorrow, which is Tuesday, the day that this podcast launches. And just things are maneuvering really quickly in my world. But I had this feeling that I was destined to make a shift. Something was changing, something was moving. And, I said to my girlfriend the other day, I was like, look, I'm really feeling that I really leaned into this pure Vita lifestyle, like not paying attention to the timelines, not listening to some of the urgencies coming through, because a lot of Costa Rica is pure Vita, baby, pure life, the Tico way, like everybody's on their own timelines, like there's no urgency here. And I feel like I dropped into that, which is amazing when it comes to regulating the nervous system and being in life. But I still have a lot of doing to do in life. And yes, there's going to be a balance of being and doing. And there's going to be this balance and flow of this maneuvering and the feminine energy as well as the masculine energy and all the dynamics of this. I know this and I get this and understand this. But it's almost like I felt like I moved out of the masculine in certain ways that it wasn't actually conducive to my mission, to the objective that I'm creating on earth, to the movement of what is moving through me. So I got smacked hard across the face in connection with this. I'm still doing some work around it because there's still some root in connection with violating energy. And I kept having these dreams of when I was in high school and like these scenarios that were dropping in with these guys that I used to hang out with and all of this stuff. When I was like, most of my life, I was chasing attention because of the fact that I didn't get a lot of attention as a kid. And I felt like my parents really, really honored my brother and didn't pay attention to me. And it was all an illusion, of course. Like my parents did whatever they could do in order to hold space for me as I grew up and as I moved through. But there was a part of me that felt disconnected. There was a part of me that was always jealous. There was this part of me inside of the space. Now I understand after I started doing some spiritual work and the 12 veils of illusion came up about all of these veils that I held. So it made so much sense. But most of my life, I was chasing attention. So therefore, it transpired and trickled into all these other avenues of my world, including my relationships in high school, including the guys that I was dating, including, me doing things just to purposely get attention. And it's pretty fucked up if I go back and take a look at, but I think there's something that I buried that while we were out drinking one night that I don't remember, that is really linked to this violation of energy of these people coming into my home and violating my field of energy, violating my space, taking the things that they took. Like they didn't take any electronics, which is really weird. They took these random things like my crystals and lighters and essential oils and all of my hair products and hair tools. Like they took all of those, like my hair dryer, my flat iron, my curling iron, like all of that space, right? So it's just interesting. And they took like strawberries and like dragon fruit out of my fridge, and I'm missing 2 Tupperware containers. So something in Tupperware container they also took. What it was, no idea, but they took that as well. So it's just interesting, right? When we look at this and we see this and we feel this, and I know because I was having these dreams, and one of my really close girlfriends, who's also a client of mine, said to me, where else in your life have you felt violated? I feel like it's somewhere near like high school or early 20s. And I was like, oh my God. So there's something there that I'm going to go back into once I can ground and stabilize. Like right now, I'm holding space for clients. I'm holding space for programs I'm teaching, for master classes, for the things I've already committed to. I'm locked into that energy. I have to go get grounded in my new space before I can dive in to the details of what this actually means and why this actually showed up in the visceral experience that it did. But why I talk about this today, and the title of this podcast is going to be Victim or Victor. It's your choice. is because shit happens like this to us. We are in a human dynamic experience with duality. It happens. There's low vibrations. There's people in the world creating dynamics like stealing from other people, like stepping into the space and violating people's energy, rape, sexual assault, murder. All these dimensions are here on this earth plane. They are here because there's a vibrational duality inside of the scope that we're working within. One of my girlfriends broke her arm on Friday. One of my other friends, like a couple that I know, lost their dog on Thursday, and they're up in Canada at a rescue here that was watching their dogs. Their dog died at this rescue. And I have no judgment on anybody's progression through life, through what they're dealing with, through their grief, through their movement of this, right? But the question is that we have this duality that we get to work within. It's the victor, meaning I'm going to understand this. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to move through this. I'm going to honor it. I'm going to honor the emotions coming in. I'm going to step into this. I'm going to honor my part of this in the space of, and then I'm going to move through this. And then there's the victim. How could this happen to me? Why is this happening to me? Meaning from a way of like detriment, not taking any ownership. All of these dynamics of things are happening for us. And sometimes this is the hardest fucking thing to swallow. Like, why would I desire someone to come and steal like $3,000 worth of my fucking essential oils, like 100 bottles in a container? Like, they took the whole thing, like my Melissa bottle of oil, like all of them. Like, I still have like 30 bottles because some of them were around my house, not actually in the pack. And some of them I have as backups. I have like doubles of some things. Some of them I had extras. I didn't bring a lot of extras because I literally like carved it back. I wish I would have brought all my extras. I wish I would have brought all the extras that I had at home. Like, and I have so much understanding now to maneuvering into a new country of what you can and cannot bring, and what I want to do next time that this happens. If this happens again in my world and in my space, that I don't have to get rid of everything the way I did. I could keep coming back and grabbing more and bringing more back. But that's a whole other experience. Anyways, it's all good, right? So it's all good. But like looking at this going, what did I manifest this? Why did I create this? Because I created this. And I remember back a few months ago where I actually had this fear. It dropped into my awareness that someone was going to come into my house and rob me, break in, whatever. And I was home when this happened, which is so much more interesting. My availability for clairvoyance is getting so much more fine-tuned. It's fucked up. And even 3 weeks ago, I had this vision that someone put an air tag in my car and was tracking my vehicle, which wasn't happening at the time, but it happened the other day. I also had the clairvoyance of one of this couple's dogs passing away, but it wasn't the dog that did pass away. It was the other dog. So it's just super interesting what's dropping into the field. But I could sit here and tell you, oh my God, poor me. Look at me. This got done. That got done. You know what I did instead? I dropped in and I went, okay, what's the solution? What does my body need first? What does my mind need? We need to get out of here. Okay. My girlfriend's like, come here. Got it. This is where I am. Hotel Delice right now in my cabina, which I've been here since Wednesday. And beautiful, beautiful people. If you ever come into Costa Rica and you want to stay at a little boutique hotel, these guys are amazing. Amazing. This place is amazing. The vibe's amazing. The bed is amazing. And they have comforters from Canada that they brought back. Oh my God, I forgot how much I miss comforters from Canada. Like amazing, all around amazing. And I took an action right out of the gate to say, what do I need? Now, I know I need to drop in and do some work around this. I know I do. But first, I got to be able to sustain. And then the next morning, guess what I did? I went to the gym, even though I was fucked up. Like, I was like, my body was tired. My mind was like, I was in this space of like, oh my God, I can't handle this. But I knew I needed to get to the gym. I was definitely not grounded, definitely not pushing the weight that I could have, definitely not in my body. But I got to the gym to move some energy. I needed to do that. So instead of becoming a victim of this energetic movement of this whole entire thing, like going, oh my God, guess what happened to me? Like, I just talked to my mom about it yesterday. I wanted it to fizzle out. I wanted to have the solution in place of what was transpiring through. I didn't want to come in with this energy of like, I need you to worry about me because I don't have my fucking shit together. I didn't want that for her because she's already questioning who I am as a person in general. And, moving to Costa Rica as a single woman, she was like, All right, whatever. She's been here though, so she got a feel for that. But we're in a landscape here right now where we have a lot of immigrants that have come back from Venezuela, and a lot of them are not creating income, and they're out on the streets trying to get money from people all the time, and they're desperate. So that's exactly who we thought came in. They took some stuff that they could probably sell off right away. Like I'm looking forward to seeing if there's a table one day that I find that has all of my stuff on it, like because of the fact that it's stuff that you would sell. However, all these bottles are open. Well, almost all of them are open for my essential oil. So it's going to be really hard to sell those, but whatever. It is what it is, right? And I can't change this dynamic of what shifted and what happened. All I can do is move through this and move forward through this and do the work within myself. But most people are getting caught under the circumstances. So my girlfriend broke her arm. And the first question she asked was, why is this happening? What do I need to do? And she just kept hearing, you need to pay attention. You're not paying attention. All the gifts that you've been given, you're not escalating this energy through. And she made a post about this on social media. So that's why I'm kind of moving it through here and sharing this out to you guys, because this visceral experience needed to happen for her to shift in quickly to see what was coming through. The exact same thing for me. It needed to drop in so I could shift quickly to see what was happening. She could have dropped into becoming a victim. Oh my God, poor me. I need to keep a cast on for 4 weeks. I now need to do this. I can't teach yoga anymore. I can't. We were working out 4 days a week at the gym together. Plus we were doing yoga together as well, like 6 days a week working out. Like she can't do that. She has a broken arm. Like she could do some leg stuff for sure. That doesn't require her to lift with her body, like her upper body, but it's different. So she went off this weekend though. Still, this happened on Friday. So this happened 3 days ago. She went off this weekend for a family event up to the mountains, and she was even hiking still this weekend. Although her body was off balance, she was learning how to move again through this, because it's different when you have one of your limbs off balance. Some of you may know by breaking different parts of your body. Some of you may not have all 4 limbs on your body, and you understand the dynamics of this, that you move through this every single day, right? So it's like this thing. She could have become a victim. She could step into this and be a victim, but she's not. She's stepping in and going, what do I need to learn? What is the messages here? How do we move through this? How do I help heal this body of mine? How do I help this happen quicker? She's going to head to get a second opinion in a couple days from now. And I feel like most of her arm is already healed. Like they're going to be like, we don't need this cast on you. That's what I feel. We'll see if I'm right. Okay. You guys can coin stamp this inside of the space, but it's like, we're playing in this victim mentality. Victimhood is the energy. It's actually what we call a shadow dynamic. It is a core wound in the work that I do, or a chosen obstacle that we've brought down into the earth. And some of you guys have victimhood as an energy that's always moving through you. But I want to remind all of us today, we get a choice of whether we become a victim in our circumstances, or whether we move through. And I don't really like the word victor, but it just makes sense for all of this. Or whether we move through to the other side into the space of being able to move the energy out. We get to choose that. No matter what the circumstances are, no matter what maneuvers through, no matter what happens in the space of this energy, that's our choice. It is a choice. And it doesn't mean that the hard stuff goes away. And it doesn't mean that we don't have to deal with our shit. And it doesn't mean we don't have to go in and look for the answers within. But you get to choose how you show up in this world. You get to choose how you show up in this space of time, in this aspect of things. That's your choice. It's a choice. So I've been telling you guys a little bit about the group coaching program that I'm a part of. It's called the Lion's Den. And it's ran by Sean Whalen, who's a very driven, strong alpha male. And some of you may be like, what the fuck did you join a group coaching program for? So I've got multiple things. So guys, I have 4 memberships I pay for in a month for, that are all different capacities. I have my self-expression, sexual expression membership that I've been in since January. I have my We Wealth Embodiment, somatic experience, breath work, wealth program that I'm in. I've got my astrology / full moon circles that I do that's on a membership where we're part of a community. And then I've got Sean Whalen's Lion's Den. And then I have my one-to-one coach. So these are 4 active communities that I'm in every single month that target different areas of my landscape that I'm choosing to step into consistently all the time, that I want to grow within, that I want new keys within, that I want to make sure are focused in my world consistently. Self-expression and owning who the fuck you are is a definite dominant one. Apparently my throat's going, a definite dominant one in my world. And then we have, I love to do full moon stuff. I love to learn about astrology. Like, I'm not an astrologer, so why not get attached to a group that's what they do? The woman that leads it, Danielle Page, is a firecracker. Sometimes her energy rubs me the wrong way because I think she is sometimes very condensed, I'm going to call it. Like, I think that she thinks that she's always right, and sometimes she's not, and that's okay. I could see through the veil of that, which is really important for me. But her messages are good. Like, her full moon circles are on point. I was doing them for like a year before that, so it just made sense. Sean Whalen's Lion's Den. So Lions Not Sheep. This is apparel company. You have seen me wearing the gear. I have some t-shirts, I have some tank tops, I have a bathing suit, I've got a hat. I love the brand. I love the mechanism of lions, not sheep, of being a lion. Now, since he's got a very masculine alpha male energy, he probably sees the lion as like the jungle ruler and very much a harsh energy, right? The strong energy of a lion. I see the lion as a very grounded and assured species, meaning confident in who they are, fully embodied, fully holding the space of, fully in their power. That's how I see a lion. And when I wear gear that says lions not sheep, I am really speaking this energy into the world of owning who the fuck you are and stepping into that space and not being a follower and not getting in line because someone says you need to be in line and not moving that forward. That is also the energy of a victor. How do I move through this circumstance in my life? How do I maneuver this in my world? How do I get this moving in the field of energy? Right. And so when I've been watching Sean for a while now, he like goes on social and like he is super strong alpha male, like, and he like calls out the group. Like, he's like, you guys are fat fuckers and you need to like get, like, he's like strong like that, very, very masculine driven energy, but he's got a great heart and he really cares about the people. And I'm in it to up my game. So I needed a little bit of masculine back. My coach is also a masculine. My one-to-one coach is a male, right? And he's got a masculine energy. So I have my we flow embodiment, my flowing. I've got my astrology, which is very much in that space as well. And also the sexual expression, like self-expression community I'm a part of is the same thing. It's owning your power, but it also has an edge of femininity, right? So I needed to blend and I was being called to blend. And it's so interesting when I dropped in to speak to you guys today about this subject and really hold space of that. I just kept hearing lions not sheep. And I was like, I will mention lions not sheep. I will mention the dynamics of holding that energy. Are you a lion or are you a sheep? Now, the sheep would play victim. The sheep would drop into whatever you tell me to do, I'll do. Right. And that's not in a way of like, your friend is hurt and you're there to help support them and you will take care of them and do whatever is needed. That's not the energy, right? The energy is, I don't have my own sense of self and I don't have my own decisions that I want to make. And I am going to completely rely on you to tell me what to do. That's what a sheep is. A sheep gets into the herd and follows the herd and moves with the herd. That's what they do, right? So where in your life do you desire to be in a different capacity, to be in a different space, to hold a different energy? What does that look like for you? How does that move through your field? What is needed at this time right now for you to shift into becoming a victor, becoming a lion, moving the energy through, taking your power back? Some of you are still under these circumstances that happened to you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You're still under them. You haven't moved through them. You haven't allowed yourself to heal, to go there into the darkness of them. You're stuck right now because you've been a victim all of your life. And you can make a choice today to move that out. a choice, really, today to move it out. I launched this brand new one-to-one program container. I didn't give any details as to like the dynamics of what it is, nor did I give the price. I gave the experience in a post. And the experience is moving through your shit and actually owning who you are and activating all the parts of you that are needed for you to expand into this. It's about not spiritually bypassing, not surface leveling. It's about going into the darks and the depths of things to be able to pull it from the root and going there in a very, very tight, energetic container and being held by me and the universal alignment. And some people are not willing to go there. They don't want to know. They don't want to change. They like, quote unquote, they like life like this, even though they don't, because most of the time they're fucking miserable, or most of the time they're scared as fuck, or they live in scarcity, paycheck to paycheck, trying to fucking move their life forward, and they can't. They do not have the life they desire, so they sacrifice. They don't step in. They don't take the action needed. They don't move the needle forward because they're too scared to do the fucking work. And that starts off with being a victim. Where in your life are you being a victim? And maybe you're not, and that's fucking amazing. But do you need to lean in more to this lion energy now? Like, is it time for you to step up and own it and claim your leadership in the world? Now, I'm not talking about leading people. I'm talking about self-leadership inside of you. You've heard me speak to this so many times in connection with what do you desire in your life, and taking that and moving it through and owning that. All of that is possible for us, but we need to make a fucking choice and make a decision in our life right now to be like, am I the victim? Are you the victim? Have you been the victim? Are you still the victim? And if not, amazing. Don't go into denial. Okay. You're owning this yourself. You're not telling anybody else. And if you're denying yourself and you're in denial about this, you're way down deeper in the darkness than you even realize. Because denial is a shadow veil that's keeping you fucking small and conformed and in that box. So today, my friends, in this beautiful podcast, episode 49, I ask you the question again, are you a victim or a victor? Are you a lion or a sheep? What do you desire your life to be like? And where right now are you hindering that growth? And if you kind of like felt a ping with that one-to-one container I just mentioned, send me a note. We can chat about it and see if it's right for you. I'm not taking, it's in pre-launch right now. It goes up to regular price in September. If you're listening to this and it's like November and you're listening to this podcast, amazing. Welcome to my world, by the way. Just send me a message anyways. Because the price goes up in September of 2023 this year. It's in a pre-launch price. It's half price right now. So if you jump on this ASAP and you want it, just message me. If you want to know details about it, let's chat. But all I want you to really recognize and realize today inside of your framework, inside of your space, is that you can make this work. You can go here. You can hold it. You can move through this. You're strong enough. You got this. We can do this. And you're needed right now. And if there's some parts of your life right now that you are hearing messages about that you have not addressed yet, I would go to highly encourage you to start to take some action here. Because the last thing you want is a visceral fucked up experience like breaking your arm or losing your dog or getting robbed. And those are the things that have been happening around here. And I've heard some other stuff that's moving through the collective, and I'm like, fuck, we're being called. There's no time to wait any longer. It's time. The timeline's set. The intentions are here. It's time to move it forward. And it's time for you to actually have everything that you desire in life and feel peace, love, and joy. Let's go get it. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.